opportunity to open up the hearing. Kathy Hamill, Principal Planner. Previously, I was the intern planner, but we have hired our new planning manager, and I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce him. This is Dale Hall. We're very lucky to have him, and so he will be now serving and supporting us and staff for this board. And then I also would like to introduce our two more board members. We have James Evans, who's come on board, also Judge Bravo, and also to congratulate our new chairman, Mr. Hadaway.
Thank you.
So we can now start the meeting. Thank you.
Anything you'd like to share with the board, thoughts, philosophy, or if you don't want to, I won't put you on the spot.
Again, I am Dale Hall. I want to say thank you for welcoming me to your board this evening. And I've just been here a week, so I don't have much to say right now, but I really do appreciate it and look forward to working with everyone closely in the future, okay?
Where did you come to us from?
I came from the city of Newport Richey, which is west of Tampa.
Wow.
Wow,
Okay.
nice.
So just got here last week, so happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and joining us.
No problem,
I know
no
you're
problem.
definitely in the drinking from a fountain or from a fire hose.
And still
phase of
living
the
in
thing.
boxes too, so that's why I'm going to go home too and get some boxes unpacked.
We've
So
all been there.
Well, welcome, and thank you.
thank you, sir.
All right. We are on air. For folks in the audience, and if you haven't attended one of these meetings, let me review our normal procedure. Staff will introduce each item for consideration. If you would like to speak, please fill out the speaker form located on the table in the lobby and indicate the number, the agenda item number, and whether you're for or against the item. And after you do that, if you'd give the form to the clerk, and she'll pass it to us. The applicant and supporters will be heard first. Those in opposition to the request will be heard next. Then the applicant will be given a chance for rebuttal. Comments should be restricted to pertinent information regarding the agenda item under discussion. No neighborhood gossip or anything like that. If you're an individual, you'll have 3 minutes for comments. If you're speaking on behalf of a group, you'll have 6 minutes for comments. Speakers, as we move through the evening, if speakers could start moving towards the podium, that'll help us move along a little faster. Speakers should identify themselves clearly for the record by stating their name and their address. Each speaker should be given respectful and courteous attention. And the board may ask questions of speakers, staff. Just don't be surprised if that happens. Information that you might want to share, pictures, site plans, letters, things like that, will be kept as part of the public record. If you have things that are on a digital device that you want to share, you need to make sure you please get a copy to the clerk so it's included in the record. After all of that is finished, I'll ask for a motion from the board. Once a motion has been made and seconded, discussion will be closed to the floor. Following board discussion, a vote will be taken. And during voting, board members who do not cast objecting votes are considered to have voted in support of the motion. Any person aggrieved by any decision of this board may, within 15 days, file an appeal to the Board of County Commissioners through the Planning and Development Services Department, and staff can help you with that after tonight's hearing. And with that, let's start the new year.
Good evening. For the record, Angie Gates, planner with Planning and Development. Item number 1 is a request for 1, a side yard north setback variance from 7.5 feet to 5.5 feet, and 2, a side yard south setback variance from 7.5 feet to 5 feet for a single-family dwelling in the R1 single-family dwelling district located at 2451 Water Street. The subject property is located in the Midway subdivision, which was platted in 1990 prior to the adoption of the zoning and Seminole County Land Development Code. The applicant is proposing a single-story, 1,196 square foot single-family dwelling. There have not been any prior variances for the subject property. The Midway subdivision is designated as a community development target area by the Board of County Commissioners. These target areas are designated to encourage redevelopment of the county by the county commissioners. Based upon the foregoing findings and the requested approval, based on the findings and recommendations, staff recommends approval, and this concludes my presentation.
For the board, any questions for staff? Seeing none, is the applicant here? Ma'am, is there anything you'd like to share in addition to what staff has said? No. All right, great, thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else in the audience here to speak in favor of this project? Yes, sir, if you want to speak, you're welcome to come on down. If you'd just come up to the podium, please, and before you start, tell us your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Terrence Ingram, and my address is 2461 Water Street. And the only problem I have is that when I purchased my house, they sold me that land. I didn't know that they was going to try to develop a house right there because the space is too small to even put a house there.
Are you, now, we're a little out of the order. Normally, we have folks in support
Oh.
and then folks in opposition, but that's fine, because I don't think there's anyone else in support to speak. Are you the next-door neighbor?
Yes, sir.
I got you. Is there anything else you want to share with us?
That's all.
Gentlemen, any questions?
Actually, I had one. So I was actually going to ask the homeowner as well, the 2461, I saw the letters of support. It's so close. You had said that when you had bought the land, you realized that, that it was pretty much going to stay, you thought it was going to stay undisturbed, et cetera, even though it was a
Well,
parcel or?
I didn't think that, but the lot is so small,
Okay.
that the other developments wouldn't buy it because it was so small.
Have you spoke with your neighbor by chance and kind of discussed it with her? And
I haven't seen them.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions? Oh, yes, sir.
I was just going to say, I probably expressing a similar concern because of the size of the lot and the proximity of the proposed building to the end of it. That was causing me some concern. And he brought it up. I think that's pretty much what he's saying.
Gotcha. Any other questions? All right, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. If you want to come on up, we can consider that rebuttal. If you would, first, give us your name and address, please.
Okay. My name is Patricia Tanner, and my address is 3919 Glyden Place in Sanford, Florida. I have developed several homes in the area. All the lot sizes are the same. They're 40 by 100. I did a similar home on Jitway, and I built it and sold it, and this lot is the same. I own several lots in the Midway area where I'm developing and building. So my plans are approved by Seminole County already, and this is the last phase of the process to build a single-family home. So the lot size is not a problem. We're staying within the proximity of the lot size and land. In the back, there's a septic, in the front is the house.
Gentlemen, any questions?
Are you the developer, or are you the owner, or are you
Well-
the representative?
Well, the contractor is my friend, and then what we do is we hire architects and all the subs, because I am the owner of the
Okay.
lot.
Okay.
Yeah, so the contractor is a friend of mine, and then, what he does is we just team up. He pulls the permits, we hire the subs together, and we kind of do the work together.
Have you thought about speaking with the neighbor, of course, because you are the owner, as you said, just being really close? I get what he's saying. Have you possibly thought about going over to speak with him about concerns that he might have if it's a noise thing, a light pollution thing, et cetera? Have you thought about speaking with him with this?
I don't have a problem speaking to anyone, because
Okay.
every time we build and we develop, we always,
Yes, ma'am.
take everyone's concerns in consideration.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, yeah,
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am.
you're welcome.
Just to try and get us back on track, anyone else to speak in support of the application? Anyone else to speak in opposition to it? Having seen that, yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for staff. This area is familiar. I believe we may have heard a variance request for this Midway neighborhood either last month or the previous month. Could you please confirm that?
Sure. I just wanted to state that it is part of an antiquated plat that was approved prior to the zoning regulations. The majority of the lots that folks don't own more than one lot do have to apply for variances, not for lot size or width, because it's part of an antiquated plat, but for setbacks. That's why it's in a target area, and Seminole County has, the county commissioners have encouraged redevelopment in these areas for those reasons. But it is within the trend of development in the area. All of these lots are undersized. But to answer your question, yes, we have had 9 in this Midway plat variances for setbacks alone.
And the one I'm thinking of from last month was on Lincoln Street, I believe. That was the same applicant.
Yeah. But Lincoln Street, Water Street, Sipes, Church, all of them.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I have another question. I apologize, it's kind of a little off topic, but because we've seen these before, because this has been identified as a community development target by the board, don't we have a path forward to relax, I don't want to say, well, let's not say, I don't want to use the relax, but to adjust the zoning requirements for this, where we could modify the setbacks, where we would eliminate the need for, but we know this is going to happen, so.
And we have. The first thing that we've done is that we do have to honor the platted lot because it existed prior to us
Sure.
doing zoning. So that's the first thing. The second thing, that we do allow for a reduction in the setbacks if it is affordable housing. If they're receiving some type of grant money, like Habitat for Humanity, and it is being constructed with grant money, or it is being constructed for very low or low income, we will administratively allow a reduction in the setbacks. But if they do not meet any of that criteria, they have to come to the Board of Adjustment. But we do recommend approval of those variances.
No, and I thank you for that. I guess I was just looking at it from a future long-term, if there's anything they can do within that community redevelopment area to change, specifically target that area.
And just do like a rezone over the entire
Correct. Just
area.
give it an overlay area that basically allows the, again, I don't want to use something that's going to be a little bit more consistent with what we're seeing, that's all. And maybe reduce the 7.5s to 5s, just as simple.
Across the area. Okay, I will bring that back to my director. That is a good idea, thinking
Okay,
about
sorry, I
maybe
didn't carry us
overlay.
off, so, thank you.
Would any action today on this be premature to perhaps an overall plan? I think I understand you're saying there's going to be a review to make an adjustment, so this wouldn't be necessary.
We will look, we have no plans at this time to do that, and if we did, it would have to go through a land development code change that could take a year and a half, and so I would proceed forward with granting these variances until that time, because I wouldn't want people to wait, and it may be something that our board, for some reason, may not support.
Yeah, because they wouldn't amend it for just one thing. It would be
Entire area, and they probably would just not want to look at Midway. We have other target areas in which the plats were platted prior to us adopting the land development code, and so this just isn't the same, it's just not one area.
address your concern?
Well, it does. It's a matter of help the homeowner now or make them wait. And I kind of heard you, I thought I heard you say that you're leaning towards favoring making the adjustment for the owner.
Yes, we are recommending approval for the adjustment for the
Okay.
owner. On this agenda item, yes, we are.
Yeah, okay. That answers-
Any other questions? Seeing none, the chair will entertain entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve. We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. Good, best of luck with it.
Thank you.
And sir, you now know who to chat with your questions. All right, next item.
Item number 2 is a request for a side street west setback variance from 25 feet to 2 feet for a privacy fence in the R1A Single Family Dwelling District in the Woodcrest Unit 5 subdivision located at 7413 Barnacle Court. The subject property is a corner lot and considered to have 2 front yards for setback purposes. The front of the house faces Barnacle Court, and the north Woodcrest side is where the variance is being sought. The proposed privacy fence will be 2 feet from the sidewalk and 19 feet from the edge of pavement. Traffic engineering has no objection to the placement of the fence as it relates to site visibility. 8 signatures were received in support of the fence by surrounding neighbors. There have not been any prior variances for the subject property, and this concludes my presentation.
I have a question. Boy, I hope I'm not opening a can of worms, but it looks like, from what I'm reading, and I was looking at aerial photos, that what they're requesting would match their northerly neighbor. Do we have any reason to think that that fence was not properly permitted?
That would be 7418 Grand
714,
Avenue.
yeah.
The only variances that were approved in that subdivision were at 7529 Compass Drive and 5480 Woodcrest Drive.
Gotcha. But there's certainly no outstanding, as far as we know, no outstanding code enforcement issue with that northerly fence that we're aware of.
At this time.
That were,
Yeah.
that
Not
I'm
yet.
And I'll stop that can of worms. All right, sir, gentlemen, any questions for staff? Any better questions? All right, is our applicant here?
Yes, sir.
Please, come on down. If you'd share with us, please, your name and address.
Ooh, my voice is going to shake. Haven't spoken in a while. My name is Amanda Ban. My address is 7413 Barnacle Court, Winter Park, Florida.
What do you have to share with us?
I would ask for you to approve this variance. The can of worms that you mentioned is something that I purchased this home in September and was kind of sold that we could do that because our neighbor had it. Then I learned there's all these codes. So here we are doing it the proper way. Don't want to get anybody else in trouble, so please don't do that.
You are not alone in we hear that so often, so you're not alone in being told that.
Perfect. So yes, you could see my northern neighbor has it as well. If you look a little to the left in that photo as well, you can't really see it behind the trees, but 2 other neighbors have their fence to the sidewalk there as well. We have support from more than just 8 neighbors. We spoke to everybody behind our block, to the left of that photo and on the cul-de-sac. And honestly, some neighbors informed me to just do it because nobody in the neighborhood would care. And I was like, I already started this paperwork. But yeah, so I asked to approve it, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. The main goal is because I'd love to utilize the yard for my nieces and nephews when they come visit, and my dog to be able to run without being worried that the cars are coming down that road.
I understand. Thank you. No reason to be nervous. You sounded great, by the way. Questions, gentlemen?
When you had said, we at the board, we constantly try to stay ahead of the sometimes less than stellar vendors that might be out there to sell things, et cetera, such as fences. When that happens, when that person had told you, was that real estate or was that a vendor? Was that a real estate person that told you that you'd be able to?
No, that I'd be able to do it right away.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a real estate person. It was like
Okay.
a recommendation. Like,
Thank you.
Look, you could do that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair,
Sir?
is there anything particular about that you need it to be 2 feet from the sidewalk? Is there anything you're trying to fence in?
I'm trying to utilize the most of my backyard for privacy, like I had mentioned, but 2 feet because that's just one lawnmower swipe.
And the reason I ask is.
Good answer.
The goal here is we're going to make any recommendations or approvals for the minimum. And 2 foot is up, while I recognize the other person's fence is probably a little bit closer than that. Just looking if there was anything that
Again, no.
specific.
Specifically, just trying to utilize the most of my backyard for personal use and privacy. I will mention that on the, west side of the house, there is also the master bathroom window. So currently where the fence is, the window does not have any privacy. So when you are in the restroom, it is very easy to see that from the street.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank
Is
you.
there currently a fence there now
Yes, sir.
within
So-
the appropriate distance?
I'm sorry.
The fence that's there now,
Yes, it had been overgrown, so it kind of blends in with the grass.
and she wants to put it out here?
Yes, sir, to match the neighbor there.
I got you, oh, I got you, okay. And do we know if that one was been approved? The
It was
neighbors?
not permitted.
That was our can of words conversation.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not complaining about that.
Any other questions, gentlemen? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak in support of this application? Seeing none, is there anyone in the audience to speak in opposition? All right, we'll close the floor to conversation. Gentlemen, do you have any last-minute questions or comments, or we'll entertain a motion?
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
I saw you leaning.
Or should there any need for conversation? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Run now while you can. Put it up.
After you get the permit.
Yep, get a permit first.
Tell your neighbors, we'll see them in a couple months.
What's next?
Item number 3 is a request for a side yard west setback variance from 10 feet to 0 feet for a boat dock in the R1AA Single Family Dwelling District and the McNeil's Orange Villa subdivision located at 5711 Bear Lake Circle. The replacement boat dock will be 984 square feet and will encroach 10 feet into the side yard west setback. It isn't clear if the existing boat dock meets the minimum 10-foot side yard because the survey that was submitted, the numbers are not clear. In addition, no building permits or variances were found for the existing boat dock at this location. This concludes my presentation.
All right, gentlemen, any questions for staff?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
just looking at the aerial, sorry, I just changed pages on myself here. There is an existing dock there now
Yes.
that appears to be, graphically maybe in a different location that they're asking?
I can't tell how much more they're
That's
encroaching
why I
because
wasn't asking specifically if.
Yeah, I can't tell. The numbers are blurry on the survey that was
If you look at
submitted.
the questionnaire, it says that the dock bill was previous to current owner and development of neighboring property. So it sounds like it was there when they bought it.
I get the impression that the dock is covering 2 properties.
I think you're right.
Well, we can ask, for sure.
Actually, I think it was over 3, the northern end into the easement, the western end of the property, and then their property.
Well, let's bring up our applicant. We can ask those questions. Come on down. Ordinarily, I'd ask you if you want to, but we're going to have questions. If you'd give us your name and address.
James Carpenter, I'm the agent for the property owner, the building contractor. So basically, from what I saw from the property appraiser's website is the left side of the boat slip kind of straddled the property line. As far as we know, the boat dock was original to the house, which is, it's been through numerous renovations, but I think originally it's like 1930s with 1970s. I didn't find any permits before 1985, so that's kind of the earliest that I could tell. I know that the seawall that's on the property was permitted. So basically, all I'm trying to do is turn to parallel the property line to take it off of the neighboring property completely. So it'll be similar in size. It is a 2-story boat dock right now. We are going to bring it to a 1-story to code compliance. Other than that, the actual walkway will maintain the setback, but it's just how the boat slip goes off to the side that that's where we would need the 0 setback. So different municipalities have different views on the projection of lot lines into the water and how that goes with setbacks, so I really wasn't sure how you guys look at it, and it was just kind of a gray area. But the walkway itself will pretty much maintain its location, which does comply with the 10-foot setback. But we were just trying to parallel the property with the new boat dock.
Any questions?
Do you know where you're going to put the new one?
In the same exact location. All it's going to do is twist to the right.
Get off of the other property?
To parallel the property. And I mean, I'm not probably going to do 0-foot setback. I'm going to come a little bit just to be true to being completely on the property line, but we're just trying to bring it off the neighbors and bring everything into code and compliance.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So I noted in the application that part of the reason was to keep the dock where it is because of the sea level, right? The depth of the water? I thought I'd read that on the application.
Correct. So on the right side of the property line, it gets really shallow. There's also like a limestone shelf that would make sinking piles and stuff difficult. So going more over towards that way would eliminate navigable water into the boat slip, as well as some issues with construction.
How far to the east does that kind of limestone shelf start?
It's real hard to say really until I really get in there and start. Sometimes there's gaps in between it where I just go in between it. Sometimes I have to adjust the framing. Sometimes it has to become a footer of sorts where it's anchored to those bound.
So I guess the question I have is, if we did more research, is there a possibility that we could move the dock 10 feet to the east after we do more research on the sea level?
The one thing that we are also doing on the right-hand side is increasing the square footage, but still staying below. Usually the maximum is 1,000 square feet, so we'll still be maintaining below that. So the actual deck would protrude no matter what we do over that way.
Sure.
And just with the adjustment of, I'm going to say it's approximately a 5-foot swing to parallel the property. Between that and the increased size of the side deck, it would really be into that shallow area.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir. Anyone else here to speak in favor of this application? Anyone here to speak in opposition? All right, we'll close the floor. Gentlemen, what's your favor?
Chair, motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Be safe building. What's next?
Item number 4 is a request for a side street north setback variance from 25 feet to 15 feet for a privacy fence in the PD Plan Development District and the reserve at the Crossings Phase 1 subdivision located at 892 Heather Glen Circle. The subject property is a corner lot considered to have 2 front yards for setback purposes. The front of the house faces Heather Glen Circle, and the Morning Glory side is where the variance is being sought. The proposed privacy fence will be 15 feet from the sidewalk and 28 feet from the edge of pavement. Traffic engineering has no objection to the placement of the fence as it relates to site visibility. The reserve at the Crossings Homeowner Association has approved the proposed fence, and there have not been any prior variances for the subject property.
The field and wet area across the street, do we know who owns that?
I do not know who owns that property,
Or whether
but
it's...
I do know that only one variance was approved in that subdivision, and it was 889 Heather Glen Circle.
Gotcha.
James.
Gentlemen,
It's kind of a funky picture.
any questions for staff? Seeing none, is the applicant here? Anything you'd like to add to what staff said? Come on down. Please give us your name and address.
My name is Joshua Moore, 892 Heather Glen Circle. Our main reason is if we stay at the 25 feet, I could basically just reach out my window and touch the fence, if that were to be the case. And also, in June, we are expecting 2 twins, My wife's pregnant,
Oh,
and so want to have a.
There's that two twins, you mean you're having quadruplets?
Just one set of twins.
One set of twins, okay.
Only if he's lucky.
We want to be able to have the extra 10 feet to have a safe spot for them, let our dog out and all that.
do you know who owns the lot across the street?
I do not. I see them eventually, or often, but I don't know them. We just moved in like a couple months ago.
Gentlemen, any questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak in support? Is there anyone in the audience to speak in opposition? All right. Seeing none, gentlemen,
Move to approve.
Second.
motion approved and a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, good luck, and man, wish you just the best with the babies.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Are these your first two? The first two children? Yes. Good luck. Congratulations.
All those up here saying that with smiles, yeah. Someone else is doing it. Oh, goodness. Yes, ma'am, what's next?
Item number 5 is a request for a front yard setback variance from 100 feet to 25 feet for an accessory structure in the A5 Rural Zoning Classification District located at 1175 Willingham Road. The proposed accessory building will be 1,500 square feet and will encroach 75 feet into the required front yard setback. The proposed building will be for personal use only. There have not been any prior variances for the subject property or similar any variance approvals for surrounding neighbors. This concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, I'll be
Gentlemen,
happy to
any
answer.
questions for staff? All right, is our applicant here? Anything you'd like to add into what staff said, sir? Come on down and just give us your name and address, please.
My name is Brady Odell. I live at 1175 Willingham Road. The reason the setback is the way it is because they consider that the front yard. I kind of consider the northern facing part of my front yard. And that's kind of just a big dead area.
Gotcha. Gentlemen, any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Building use is for?
Just storing stuff, really. Boats.
You talked to, and the reason I asked, I didn't see any letters of support. Have you talked to the neighbor who you're going to be basically putting the building, looks like right behind their structure?
Yeah, it's my brother-in-law, so he's fine with it.
He has to be fine.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just, FYI, it's always good to bring that stuff as part of your, package too.
Yeah, it's my first time doing this.
Thank you.
It's essentially property you don't use.
Correct.
Tom, do you have a question?
Yes, the accessory structure, the shed or whatever it is, it's already there, right? On your
No, there
property?
was a shed there. I took that out.
Okay. All right. Because I looked at a aerial photography of the lot, and it looked like there was already a shed or something sitting there on the spot
Yeah.
corresponding to the plan.
Yeah,
So you took that
that's all
out, you're
gone
putting a
now.
new one
Yeah.
in? Okay.
Correct.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions? All right, thank you, sir.
So, thank you.
Anyone else in the audience like to speak in support of the application? Brother-in-law or otherwise? Anyone in the audience opposed to the application? All right. Seeing none, gentlemen, your pleasure.
Move
Chair.
to, all you, sir. You haven't done it yet.
Move to approve.
I'll second that.
Austin seconds.
It's a good idea, sir.
Any conversation? All right, seeing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Best of luck with it, sir.
Thank you.
Okay,
Next.
Item number 6 is a request for a side street east setback variance from 25 feet to 0 feet for a privacy fence in the R1AA Single Family Dwelling District in the Meadows West subdivision located at 101 Clover Lane. Subject property, corner lot, and considered to have 2 front yards for setback purposes. The front of the house faces Clover Lane, and the Prestview Avenue side is where the variance is being sought. The existing privacy fence is 3 feet from the sidewalk and 15 feet from the edge of pavement. Traffic engineering has no objection to the placement of the fence as it relates to site visibility. A code enforcement violation, 23-2 2223 was issued for this structure, resulting in the necessity of a side street setback variance. There have not been any prior variances for the subject property, and only 2 variances were approved for corner lots in this subdivision. That concludes my presentation.
Ms. Angie, I could have completely misread what you had prepared. Am I understanding it correctly that the existing fence is 3 feet off, it's subject to a code enforcement action, but what they're applying for is 0? So they're going to remedy the existing code enforcement violation, or applying to remedy it by moving closer?
That's what the application states.
Gotcha, all right, says what it says. Gentlemen, questions? Your Honor?
You just answered my question. Thank you.
I guess we'll get some more information when we...
Is our applicant here? Oh.
Ooh, I guess we won't.
Nope.
Gentlemen, can we have a motion to move this to the end of the agenda? We'll circle back.
Noted.
All
So
right.
made.
We have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor of moving this issue, this item to the bottom of the agenda?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. We'll circle back. Next, please.
Good evening. For the record, Hillary Payton, Planning and Development. Item number 7 is 3 variance requests for 5573 First Street, located in the Sylvan Lake subdivision. The requests are for a front yard setback reduction from 50 feet to 10 feet, a rear yard setback reduction from 30 feet to 5 feet, and an impervious surface coverage reduction from 30% to 40%. I guess it would be an increase, not a reduction, huh? For a single-family residence in the A1 zoning district. The request is to construct a single-family dwelling within the front and rear yard setbacks. The home will encroach 40 feet into the front yard setback and 25 feet into the rear yard setback. Additionally, the existing home on the property will convert into an accessory dwelling unit, which will have a 40% impervious surface coverage ratio and will not meet the maximum impervious surface coverage requirement of 30%. The property abuts the Seminole Trail on the rear. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions for staff, gentlemen? Yes, sir.
So the item with the impervious surface, has there been any information to staff that they've done anything to mitigate the impervious surface increase, I guess, like to stay in compliance with like the Coastal Conservation Act and all that?
No, so the accessory dwelling unit that we now recently allow into the single-family residential zoning districts has a cap on the amount of impervious surface coverage ratio that we allow.
Right.
Because this property is zoned A1, which is traditionally 1 acre or more, but this is the size of like an R1 AA zoning district. In that R1 AA zoning district, it allows for 40%. So with speaking with our engineer, we're allowing them to apply for the variance to change it from the 30% that's required in A1 to the 40% that we allow in R1 AA.
So to clarify, the neighborhood as a whole, if it wasn't zoned almost oddly in this case, because it is a quarter acre,
Right.
it would have otherwise not even been part of the variance request?
Right.
Okay.
Good question. Any other questions, gentlemen?
Well said.
All right, is our applicant here?
Yeah, I got a question.
Oh, yes, sir.
For staff.
Sorry.
You said that there were variances that were approved for this parcel in 2009.
Correct. They did not move forward with that home that they originally had applied for.
Right.
Another thing I should probably add is that because of the size of the existing home that's going to become an ADU, our code requires that the house be at least 285% larger than the existing home that's on the property. So that's why they had to have the square footage of the new home in order to comply with that regulation. So in order for them to build that size of a home, they're having to take up so much more space on the property to build that with that square footage.
Okay.
So that's why they're needing to get the variances for the front and the rear, as well as the 10-foot front yard setback. The existing home that was built eons ago, probably before all of you were born.
Bless your heart.
It's already 10 feet from the front yard, and therefore cannot. This house has to be at the 10 feet in order to comply with the requirement that the accessory dwelling unit not be in front of the primary home. So there's a lot going on, and we've been working on this for quite some time to try to remedy this for them, and this is what we've come up with.
All right, 2 follow-up questions for you.
Sure.
The 2009 variances, was it the same property owner who applied for those that's applying this time?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
And Do variants, do these ever expire? The
No,
ones-
variances do not. They don't,
Okay.
they remain with the land, but what was approved was at 20 feet in the front and 16 feet in the rear, and that's not going to work with everything that I just explained.
Because they need more to.
Right. They need, yeah.
Understood,
Current
thank you.
structure going to be raised?
I'm sorry?
Is the current structure going to be raised?
No, that's going to become their accessory dwelling unit.
There's enough room to do everything they want to do.
Yes, if these variances get approved tonight.
Did you have another one, Tom?
No, I'm done. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
I kind of briefly raised my hand. So this current building is 1060 square feet, right?
Right.
And the whole property, the one they're putting the ADU and the new one, will be all on the same quarter, 2.255?
Yes.
So at 285%, that's to be like almost 3,000 square foot house, right? And that'll fit all the setbacks and all that good
If
stuff?
the variance is approved, yes.
Okay, all
They'll be
right.
able to build that large of a home.
Now, the square footage for the house, that's not the footprint of the house, that does include
Correct.
multiple
Upstairs and
stories, which is
downstairs,
how I
yes.
assume they're going to fit in there.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Any other questions, gentlemen? All right, is our applicant here?
I apologize, I'm sorry, I guess I was.
I'm sorry, I keep teasing you like that. I'm sorry. One more question.
Speaking loud enough for you to hear me. From what I can see on the survey, is there a small accessory building that's still on there that's inside the setback next to the new structure?
Yes, but in my conversations with the applicant, I believe she said she was removing that, if I recall correctly, but we can check with her on that.
Okay, thank you.
Because the survey shows up.
Yeah.
I will pay attention this time. Any other questions? All right, this time, yes, please, come on down. If you would just please share with us your name and address.
Laura Cato, 5573 First Street.
Yes, ma'am, what would you like to share with us about this?
I think she did a great job. We've been working together for a long time, and I've been just kind of asking for their guidance because we're willing to do whatever makes the most sense to follow as many rules and to make this happen. And so we've literally picked the house based on what we needed to make work with the lot lines and everything, so.
We do have a good staff.
Very good. They've been wonderful.
Gentlemen, any questions for the applicant? Yes, sir.
Well, I guess I'll throw the questions at you again. Were you the original applicant back in 2009?
I was, and I wish I could really remember a lot of details about it.
That's fine, I was just asking again.
We've owned it for a long time.
And that secondary accessory, will you be tearing it down?
That's not right. I mean, at some point I would like to definitely update it, but for now we are not planning on tearing it down.
Okay, I was just asking for clarification.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
The 82-foot, do you have anything that shows what the floor plan looks like on this unit?
Did I submit the floor plan? I mean, we have to. Like, yes. Okay, go.
Thank you. Catch you off guard.
That's cute.
Okay, I can't fit it all.
Honestly, if you throw the backside, I was more interested in the backside. My question, that outdoor living space that's identified back there, and then the balcony up top above it, I'm assuming, is that to the 82 feet?
Yeah, it's all included.
Okay.
Because see, the owner's suite goes all the way to the corner too, but yes, everything's included. That's the length.
I'm having a little hard time with the 5 foot, you know, if there's a overhang, I mean, we're right on the property line with your primary structure, so, you know, I was just trying to make sure that there was nothing else protruding out there, so, thank you.
We've heard that kind of stuff before. Any other questions?
Did you do the math with me on this? I don't think it actually is as close as 5 foot, but.
Oh, yes, I did.
Okay, we put 5 foot, but I think we gave ourselves some leeway.
9 is what we
Yeah.
were estimating it at, but we wanted to give
Because of
5.
that angle on the short side, we were trying to cover ourselves.
Mr. Wright, does that answer your question?
It does, thank you.
Okay.
Like I said,
Can
as long
can
as,
they see this, like how,
as long as I know that that 82 feet is to the outside of that
this is,
living area.
yeah, this right here is what we guesstimated on the angle to be about 9 foot on the shortest point, right there.
Okay. Gentlemen, any other questions? Thank you, ma'am, for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, I apologize, I do have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not for the applicant, for staff.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Go ahead, Devin.
The, my question is, the staff is going to be about the accessory structure that's there. You know, applicant has indicated that there's no immediate plans to tear it down, and in fact, they'd like to rehab it or, you know, put something else there in the same position, but.
The ADU or the shed?
What's that? The shed.
Oh, no, the shed can be gone. I thought you were talking about the ADU.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, this was about the shed. I just want to make sure, because if that thing's staying, then we have to do something with it, with the, so.
There's no problem with the shed. I thought you were talking about the front little.
Normally, we have the applicant come back up, but you stay there. We'll just say for the record, the applicant
record,
is
yeah.
stating that the shed will be removed.
And honestly, I think that would, if, you know, recommend that that would be part of our motion, that the, whatever the purview of the board is, that it should include that, if the approval is in mind, so.
That's good. Anyone else in the audience to speak in support? Anyone in the audience to speak in opposition? All right, gentlemen, what is your pleasure?
You got a motion cooking, so.
All right, Mr. Chair, make a motion to approve with the condition that the existing, and it's blurry, but I'm assuming it's the 8 by 11-foot wood shed adjacent to the proposed unit be, you know, as part of the removal, that's part of the condition of approval.
And I think that makes sense, and I think the record can hear that. I'm not going to try and read all of that back. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second. Any comment? Seeing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's approved. Best of luck. It looks really cute. What's next?
Item number 8 is a variance request for 1,000 Notting Pines Way located in the Sutter's Mill subdivision. The request is for a side street setback reduction from 25 feet to 0 feet for a privacy fence in the R1AA zoning district. The subject property is a corner lot and has 2 front yards for setback purposes. The front of the house faces Notting Pines Way. The Red Bug Lake roadside is where the variance is being sought. The request is to construct a 6-foot-tall white vinyl privacy fence with a 10-foot gate and a 4-foot gate entirely within the side street setback. The privacy fence encroaches into an FPL power line easement and a utility easement, and at building permitting will be required to provide a letter of no objection from FPL in addition to signing an estoppel letter. The privacy fence is 3.4 feet from the sidewalk and 8.4 feet from the edge of pavement. Traffic engineering has no objection to the placement of the fence as it relates to site visibility. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
The applicant in their narrative, in the variance criteria narrative at number 2, mentions that the building department now says that the permit issued to the previous owner was issued in error. Do you have comments on that statement?
No, it seems to be that for some reason they went ahead and issued the permit without the variance.
Do we know how old that permit is?
I wanted to say it was from like the 80s when I looked it up
All right, yeah,
a while ago.
that sure strikes me as an estoppel thing. All right. Gentlemen, any questions for staff? Seeing none, is our... Yes, sir.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
On the survey, is there an existing fence that looks like, are those masonry block columns?
Yes, sir.
I think if we go back a photo or two,
You can see the,
you see there, Tom? I mean,
they're more towards the front half of the property, not the back half of the property, but there are masonry blocks that are along the Red Bug Lake roadside.
So where does, and I apologize, I mean, I'm just looking at the survey, and that wall, the existing columns, the existing fence do not appear to be on the property line. they appear to be inside, so where does the 0 foot come from?
That's what they applied for, is to have it at 0 feet.
Okay, I'll ask the applicant, I mean, and I'm assuming they're not moving it, but, because what I'm seeing on our application is just the 2 connection points, correct, from the house and the rear?
From the house, yes, from the house and then on the rear, correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions for staff? All right, is our applicant here? Come on down, please. You may not have anything to add, but I know the board has a few questions, but if you'd share with us your name and address, please.
Tracy Goff, 1000 Notting Pines Way, Castleberry 32707.
Thank you, ma'am. Anything you want to add to what staff said?
Just to answer your question, I bought the house in 2016, so I've been living there 7.5 years. Had no idea that it was of this easement or the setback until I applied for the fence. What I'm planning to do is not replace the fence that's on the Red Bug Lake Road side with the columns that are there, but in the back fence and the fence between me and my neighbor is in bad shape. It's literally falling down. So I want to take the opportunity of, if you look at the survey, the aerial photo, I mean, yeah, you can see, no, go back one. There you go. You can see that the fence, there's a lot of my property that is not enclosed because of that monstrosity power line back there. It never will be, and because the entrance, there's a turnoff onto Red Bug to go behind the houses, it would cover up that completely. So what I am planning to do is push it back as much as I can without incorporating the power line in my yard, number one, and number two, not cover up the entrance so people won't have access to their backyards.
Makes sense. Thank you, ma'am. Gentlemen, any questions?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
First question, can we show the survey up there on the screen? There's like a driveway turnout off of Red Bug. Is that for the easement access, or, I see you're putting a gate back there. I mean, are you using this as a ingress egress onto Red Bug?
Well, part of it is putting a gate back there so that I will have access to the backyard. But yes, it's also for the easement and for, I know some of my neighbors do come into the back, to their backyards. And that's why the fence.
To your backyard?
Not my backyard, to their backyard. I couldn't cover up that where there was no access. That's why the fence is the red portion is kind of angled. And then it's going to come back so I can incorporate as much of my property within the fence that I can.
Sure. The second question is the existing fence that's along Red Bug. Like I said, from the survey, it looks like there's some columns there that are identified with the Cs, and then there's an existing fence between them. Are you replacing all of that?
No.
Is that fence owned and maintained by your HOA?
There is no HOA, sir.
Oh.
And I can explain why I'm not replacing that one. Cost, number one. Secondly, in the pictures you saw the damage to the fence where several panels were missing. Hurricane Ian did a lot of destruction. It just kind of washed through my backyard. So my sons and I have done a lot of repairs on the Red Bug Lake Road side and put in new posts and cemented them. So it's in pretty good order. So I'm not looking to replace that at this time.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Anyone in the audience to speak in support of this application? Anyone in the audience to speak in opposition? Seeing none, gentlemen, your pleasure.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Judge seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Best of luck with your fence.
Thank you.
Didn't sound like a conversation point. What's next?
Item number 9 is 2 variance requests for 1461 Pelican Bay Trail located in the Pelican Bay subdivision. The request is for an east side yard setback reduction from 10 feet to 9 feet and a rear yard setback reduction from 30 feet to 25.5 feet for an addition in the A1 and R1A zoning districts. The request is to construct a 646 square foot addition, 4.5 feet into the rear yard setback and 1 foot into the east side yard setback. A letter of support has been received from the affected neighbor. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? All right. Seeing none, is our applicant here? Anything you'd like to add to what staff said? No. All right. Gentlemen, do you have any questions for the applicant? All right. Anyone else in the audience to speak in favor of the application?
Does your mother-in-law live with you now?
No.
So you're going to remodel to move your mother-in-law
Can we
in?
ask the applicant to come up?
That's a brave guy.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law lived with us for 5 years before she passed. Will this be a separate space for her?
Could you give us your name and address, please, sir?
Eric Schoenberg, 1461 Pelican Bay Trail in Winter Park.
Go, Judge.
It's going to be in addition to your house?
Correct.
Okay, not a separate?
No.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Circle back again. Anyone to speak in support? Is anyone in the audience to speak in opposition? Seeing none, what's the board's pleasure?
Move to approve.
A motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
A second. Any comment? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, enjoy.
And good luck with your mother-in-law. Be patient.
What's next?
Item number 10 is a variance request for 6625 Bear Lake Terrace located in the Bear Lake Heights subdivision. The request is for a front yard setback reduction from 25 feet to 12 feet for a privacy fence in the R1AA zoning district. The request is to construct a 6-foot white vinyl privacy fence with 2 gates, 13 feet into the front yard setback. The proposed privacy fence is 21 feet from the edge of pavement and is without a sidewalk to encroach upon. Traffic engineering has no objection to the placement of the fence as it relates to site visibility. Letters of support have been received from 3 of the surrounding property owners. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Gentlemen, any questions for staff? All right, seeing none, is our applicant here? Anything you'd like to add to what staff had said, sir? Yes, sir. All right, gentlemen, do you have any questions for the applicant?
I do, sir.
Oh, yes, sir. If you'd come on down, please, sir, and give us your name and address for the record.
Good evening, 6625 Bear Lake Terrace, Charles Johnson.
Thank you. The new fence that you're putting in, does it look like it's going to have a couple of gates on there?
Yeah, so there's an existing fence that's there, it's just going to come out to the edge of the driveway. There's going to be a double gate right there, and then cut back towards the house, and there'll be a single gate there, so I can get the lawnmower back there to the little grassy area. I have currently a small, like a pop-up RV that I'm storing at family's house. They're moving out of state, so I'm not going to have anywhere to put it, so this is going to allow me to better secure that. Plus, my daughter, that whole side of the yard is kind of like a little play area for her. Currently, you can see right into it. It'd be nice to have that privacy and not have to kind of be concerned of, people peeping in and, you never know.
No, understood. I just, you have 2 driveways, one on Playa Way. Is that your primary entrance, like for the garages?
Yeah, so Playa Way is, I would consider our front of our house, but our address side is Bear Lake Terrace. We're kind of in a weird space, because actually if you go further down on Bear Lake Terrace, those are all double lots, and their fences are right up against their, lot line, and, they can use their back entrance to park all their personal belongings. Playa Way, there's a retaining wall there, and that's where our drain field is and our septic tank, so I couldn't do anything on that side to accommodate it, so this would be my only option.
The reason I'm asking is just, reducing it down to 12 feet with a impenetrable, fence with a gate.
Yeah, it's not even, it wouldn't be right up
I'm concerned
against.
more about parking, next things, those parking is going to be outside the property line under the right of way.
No, we stayed within it'd be 21 feet from the road all the way up to the fence would be 21 feet. And
12 feet from the property, though.
Say that one more time.
Did we pop the survey up there real quick? Thank you. That, right there, that top front of the fence where the gate's at is 12 feet from your property line.
So top fence, yes, from the red line to the property line is 12 feet, yes.
12 feet?
Yes, sir.
And that's why I was asking.
Yeah, I understand that,
If you
yeah.
start parking there, you're talking about bringing an RV, and, last thing we want to see is
No, it would
you're going to be
behind-
parking
yes.
from the street to the fence, parking in the right-of-way. That's my concern.
Okay. Like I said, I park there currently. My vehicle doesn't get into the street. I have a big 1500 Chevrolet pickup. I have a good 2-3 feet before I'd even get to the street with that. Whatever RV I had would, like I said, it's not going to park in the driveway, it'd be behind the fence.
Okay,
It's a little pop-up. so.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right, thank you, sir, for your time.
Yes, sir, appreciate you guys, thank you.
Anyone in the audience to speak in support? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition to this application? Seeing none, it's the board's pleasure.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any conversation? All right, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right, we have one in opposition. Best of luck, sir.
Appreciate it, thank you guys.
And let's see, I guess we're on to 10 now.
11.
On to 11 now.
Item number 11 is a variance request for 3757 Millstone Drive, located in the Sutter's Mill subdivision. The request is for a side street setback reduction from 30 feet to 5 feet for a privacy fence in the R1 AA zoning district. The subject property is a corner lot and has 2 front yards for setback purposes. The front of the house faces Millstone Drive. The Millstone Court side is where the variance is being sought. The request is to construct a 6-foot wood privacy fence 20 feet into the side street setback. The proposed privacy fence encroaches into a utility easement, and a building permitting will meet the criteria for placement with an estoppel letter. The proposed privacy fence is 5 feet from the sidewalk and 17.7 feet from the edge of pavement. Traffic engineering has no objection to the placement of the fence as it relates to site visibility. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Gentlemen, any questions for staff? All right, is our applicant here? Anything you'd like to add, sir, to what staff's saying? Just come on down and give us your name and address, please, and then share your thoughts.
Steven Spizzato, address 3757 Millstone Drive. No, she pretty much nailed it. The only thing I would add is the neighbor across the street, 3745. I know they got a variance back in 2014 for their fence, which is roughly the same layout that I'm proposing. That's about it.
Gentlemen, any questions for the applicant? All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Anyone in the audience to speak in support of the application? Anyone to speak in opposition? Seeing none, what's the board's pleasure? Yes, yes, sir.
Question for staff.
Yes.
There was a note in the packet from, I think, Hillary, saying that no variance was found for the lot across the street. So
For
can we
the
get some?
subject property. I did not find a variance for that one across the street. I did find one from 2018 for 3742 Millstone at 8 feet 4 inches, and I found 3850 Mill Creek Lane from 2010 at 9 feet. I did not find one when I searched for the one across the street, though. I could be.
If you don't mind, I'll let the applicant come down and if he wants to amend his statement. Yes, sir.
I got the address wrong. I'm sorry. The one 8 foot and 4 foot, that was the address. Opposite side of the cul-de-sac, I believe.
3742 is what I found. Opposite side of the cul-de-sac for you would be 3745.
That's what I
But
found.
I did
Okay,
not,
no, so
I didn't find
I
one
was
for that one.
inaccurate.
Happens.
Sorry about that.
All right. Thank you, sir. Any other questions before we discuss motions? All right, what is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chair, motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second. Judge.
Judge seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, enjoy.
Thank you.
All right, let us circle back to, what was it, number 7?
101 Clover Lane.
6.
Was it Clover Lane?
Yes.
I've received information from the clerk. Have you had contact with the applicant?
I did receive information, and they're not going to be able to attend because they're not in the state.
They're not in the state. Interesting. Gentlemen, would you like to continue it, or do you want to try and hear it on its merits?
I would recommend hearing it on its merits versus trying to get them to come down out of state.
Sounds good. Who's, that was yours, right.
Would you like me to repeat the?
Gentlemen, do you need to hear staff's comments?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Sure, no problem. This item number, okay, here we go.
Which one was it?
Item number 6.
It was 6, okay, I'm sorry.
101 Clover Lane. Okay.
Go
So,
ahead when you're ready.
item number 6 is a request for a side street east setback variance from 25 feet to 0 feet for a privacy fence in the R1AA Single Family Dwelling District and the Meadows West subdivision located at 101 Clover Lane. Subject property is a corner lot and is considered to have 2 front yards for setback purposes. The front of the house faces Clover Lane, and the Prestview Avenue side is where the variance is being sought. The existing privacy fence is 3 feet from the sidewalk and 15 feet from the edge of pavement. Traffic engineering has no objection to the placement of the fence as it relates to site visibility. There is a code enforcement violation. Violation 23-223 was issued for this structure, resulting in the necessity of a side street setback variance. There have not been any prior variances for the subject property, and this concludes my presentation.
All right, so that was our question before, because the existing fence that's in violation is 3 feet from the sidewalk, but the property owner is asking for 0 feet setback.
They're asking for, asking to remedy it by a variance, and so long as they're getting a variance, they want it to 0. And, any other questions for staff? Just so the record is straight, let's just make a call out. Is there anyone for the applicant in the audience? There is not. Is there anyone here to speak in support or opposition? Does the county attorney's office have a comment?
Hi, Paul Chipok for the record, Deputy County Attorney. In looking at the site plan that was submitted, are they placing the fence in the same location as it presently, as the old fence was?
According to the site plan, yes, but their application stated 0.
Okay, because according to the site plan that they have shown, they have asked for 0, but it does show that the fence is 3 feet off of the property line, and then gives a 3-foot separation between the fence and the sidewalk.
Would the application have precedence over an exhibit to it?
The application would, because that is what we advertise it for.
Yeah. So it would be the 0.
But because the 0, if they ask for less, we can give them less. But because they ask for 0, we could grant them 3 feet. We can't grant them more.
It makes sense, everyone?
And from the picture that is in the staff report, it looks like the existing replacement fence is at the 3 feet.
So perhaps,
I just wanted to clarify that.
and that does clarify it, thank you. And perhaps what we should do, should there be a motion to approve, perhaps just affirmatively state what the board's pleasure is, and then presuming that, of course, which we may not do. There is no one in the audience for support or opposition, so gentlemen, let's talk about it.
Well, my concern is looking at the picture that's in the file, that there's the 3 feet distance to move it closer, I think might be a hazard. I'd be concerned about putting it any closer to the sidewalk anyway.
I agree, Mr. Chair. I mean, the same spot would be one thing, we do it a million times. But 3 feet closer, you're right on top of that sidewalk. I understand we have to do what the application states, is it what it was advertised for, and we can't just base it off of what over the site plan was looking, so I'm not 100% in favor of that, so.
I follow. Any other thoughts, gentlemen?
Like-minded. I'm in favor of, as you suggested, if there was a motion to approve that, maybe it should be maintaining its existing location, which is a 3-foot offset currently, at least the way it's described.
And additionally, worst-case scenario, if we did not want to proceed without hearing firsthand from the applicants, you said that they were out of state at the moment, but the applicants and the property owners, according to Seminole County Property Appraiser card, are the same people. So I'm assuming that their existence out of the state of Florida is a temporary thing, and were they to be put on notice that they need to be here next month or to at least send a representative, that would be doable for them. So if we're not 100% on making a decision tonight and we want to continue to next month,
Are we still allowing folks to show up telephonically or Zoom or what we did during COVID?
We do not offer for them to show up with Zoom, but we do tell them that if they don't appear at the hearing, there is a chance that their item will be continued, especially if the board can't if they have questions for you and you are not there, they may not feel comfortable. We highly recommend them to be at the hearing.
they were given fair
I agree
warning.
with that.
So would y'all like?
I move to continue it.
Second.
We have a motion to continue in a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
James? Silence will be seen as in favor unless...
I thought I had said aye.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm going deaf in my old age, sorry. All right, so it's continued. And that takes us then to minutes. Did we get the minutes? Shame on me. Shame on me. I'm the only one.
I don't recall seeing them
To
either.
be honest, I don't remember seeing
I
them.
don't remember seeing them.
They did come?
They were attached.
I am getting a
Yes.
look that tells me they most definitely came. And
I've got like 3 minutes to 7:15.
all right, so we have a motion on the minutes.
Yes.
Does the board have a motion on the minutes?
Motion to approve.
We have a second?
Second.
All right, in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, they're approved. All right, anything else y'all want to chat about before we adjourn? If not, we are adjourned. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
James, you did a good job.
Thank you, Chairman.